Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
Donald Trump's close personal friend, Paolo Zampolli, who was also close personal friends with Jeffrey Epstein, you guys starting to see the connection here, had ICE arrest his ex-wife, Amanda Zampolli. Now, why is this important? Because Amanda Zampolli was groomed and raped by Paolo Zampolli from the age of 17. Now, why do we know that? Because Amanda Zampoli's name appears on the Jeffrey Epstein flight logs when she was 17 years old. Now, Zampolli, just like Donald Trump, just like Jeffrey Epstein, and just like Jean-Luc Brunel, all ran fake modeling agencies where they trafficked minors. Amanda Zampolli was one of these models in the Zampolli modeling agency. And Paolo Zampolli then groomed this child, which, by the way, this is what grooming actually is. It's an adult man grooming a child to be his sexual partner. And then she ended up marrying him and staying with him until she escaped. They ended up having a child together. Now, Paolo Zampolli used his power and his friendship with Donald Trump to get Amanda Zampolli, who's originally from Brazil, taken into ICE custody, where Amanda Zampolli was put into a concentration camp for 5 months. She is now in hiding in Brazil, and her child is here in the United States with the pedophile who groomed her. There is an entire story here that nobody is fucking paying attention to, which is that all of these people are kid fuckers who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. Why the fuck are we still letting this happen? Why is Donald Trump still president of the United States? All the dots are fucking there. Connect them, America.
Oh yeah. What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And that's just the beginning. That's not even the end of it. You see, last night, I put up a documentary, part one of a documentary on Paolo Zampolli. You know why I put it up last night, even though I made it 6 months ago? Because it was deleted. I'm not sure how that happened. I mean, no one knows how when you put something up on YouTube, the great and awesome company that it is, it would just get deleted without any messages or any violations. But in that documentary, there's actually supporting newspaper clippings, documents, files that support what you just heard and go even deeper. I thought maybe you'd like to see that this person isn't just ranting on Instagram and that good old drill sergeant was on this 6 months ago to help back her up. That's Chelsea Gods, by the way. I'm going to be talking to her a lot more for the rest of this documentary series. Let's see if this gets taken down or deleted completely too.
Well, who introduced Melania to Trump is still iffy. Melania says it was a meeting at the Kit Kat Club, and Zampolli says he was the one. But either way, Zampoli's right. Because while he was a partner at Metropolitan Models, Paolo was the one who procured Melania's visa to get to the United States. And an H-1B at that. I mean, really? An H-1B visa that's otherwise known as an Einstein visa, a genius visa, when she hadn't even done a major publication spread yet. Questions?
So anyway, I just feel like it sounds like a wild story, and I don't know why it matters who introduced you to your husband, and I don't know why it's better that an ID, ex modeling agent who, hung out with your husband, now husband, who then was dealing with beauty pageants for girls, which now we know, some of the recordings that have come out and stuff, unearthed, footage and whatever. He was a real estate agent. He worked for the Trump organization.
And here's another one. How does one go from being an agent for models who barely get booked, and that's Vanity Fair saying that, not me, to becoming a real estate agent for the wealthy and the connected? Well, it might have something to do with the court filings we've uncovered that seem to suggest, and in some cases straight up accuse Zampolli and all of the other model agencies attached to him to include Trump models. Ding. They weren't hiring models for the purpose of representing them, but more for the purpose of keeping them captive in buildings that they now somehow own, and then trading them for favors, or in Zampoli's case, power. Maybe, maybe not. But I can say for sure, securing an Einstein visa for a model who never made a national cover in her life, but instead thinks the slogan "Be Best" is a presidential winner, certainly seems to pay for itself when you introduce her to the future president of the United States of America. In the coming episodes, we're going to show you the lawsuits brought against not only Zampoli's company, but the entire industry by hundreds of women, and how they were so easily dismissed and ignored by the same media that plays Ghislaine Maxwell's fraudulent and staged interview by someone promising her a pardon in return. In the coming episodes, we're going to talk about Paolo Zampoli's family and history in Italy, and how a tradition of treating bloodlines and handshakes positions men like him in places where the government and the mafia and corruption all pretty much look the same to me, if I'm honest. When Olivia says the only people who know the answers are women who modeled in the 90s and early 2000s, it's not meant only to be a statement of fact. It's an invitation. We will not use your story for pain porn in order to get clicks, nor will we get excited about the details of your suffering and then leave you alone with no protection or resources or family or justice if we can pull it off. When Olivia says the only people who know the answers are women who modeled in the 90s and early 2000s, it's not meant only as a statement of fact. It's an invitation. We will not catch and kill your story and treat you as a hostile witness, because that's what's been happening, YouTube. Yeah. And that's why we refuse to make just another typical documentary. The main character in this documentary is not the main focus of episode 1. You are. Because that's who we believe.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.